Come what may in the months and the years ahead, we know we'll have stability and experience leading us through these challenging times. I want to thank every New Brunswicker who showed the country how democratic elections can be held safely during this pandemic.
Well, his snap election won over the voters, with the Progressive Conservatives in New Brunswick taking 27 seats in that legislature, making history, breaking the one-term government trend that has gone on since 2003. But the opposition along the way accused Premier Higgs of favoring politics over public health. So what was the ballot box question for the election, and what can other governments close to an election, I'm thinking of BC, possibly even the federal government, learn from the first COVID campaign in Canada? Let's find out. Joining me now is the winner of the election yesterday, Premier Blaine Higgs. He is in Fredericton. First of all, congratulations on a huge win. You're in majority territory now. What was the ballot box question in your view, Premier? What did the people really make their decision on?
Good evening, Solomon. Thank you, Evan. Basically, it was stability for our province. It was having a path forward that we could build on, the momentum we were seeing in our province, working through the health issues. It was a time with in the pandemic when certainly things were stable here in our province, and we'd seen from the opposition their willingness to, really take down the government at whatever situation may arise, and we saw that 2 or 3 times leading up, even the week of the pandemic when it was really starting to catch hold back in March. So I'm excited because now people can look at New Brunswick and say, we have a place to invest. We have a place that has stability for the next 4 years. We can build a foundation to build on that will be stronger when other governments come, and that we can actually have a path forward. And that's been my goal for a long time, to build a stable path forward that we can build on, not just throw away because a new government comes in place. And we've been doing a lot of things in COVID safely, and we're committed to keeping our province moving forward, not waiting for a vaccine.
Was this a referendum on how your government handled the pandemic and the plan for recovery? I'm just trying to get a sense that, was the electorate really seized by the COVID situation, the healthcare, the economic impact of it, or were there other issues?
Well, I think that was the primary situation, that generally the population were pleased with how New Brunswick had handled the pandemic. I mean, I was part of that, obviously, but we worked very well with public health, with health officials all over the province, and with our border security. And I would say anyone in the province were watching closely to follow the rules and ensure we protected each other. And I think what they saw is, wow, New Brunswick really can work well together if we have common goals. I tried to put that forward 5 weeks ago with the other parties, and the opposition walked out. And so I was really left with a little choice, but if we're going to have that stability, we had to move on it, and that was the driving factor. But yes, I think people felt safe here in our province. We must continue that. We're still in a pandemic, but I feel that we can move along and progress here in COVID, and we have a great momentum here across our province.
Well, the opposition also gave you heat for holding the election during the pandemic. Talk about the call, because no one knows. It might be another 14 days till we see if there's any spike in cases in your provinces. What if there is a spike in cases? Will that be a condemnation of the decision to have this campaign?
Well, I guess, Evan, I feel very good about what we did through this campaign. We weren't doing any door knocking. I know some other parties were. We were very, very adhering to the actual public health rules and regulations. We had very small gatherings. Last night, even as an example, in a acceptance speech and at our headquarters, it was just our volunteers. There wasn't any participation from other candidates, other ridings, because it's a different world we're in. But it doesn't mean the world stops. So, we'll watch over the next 14 days. But I feel very good about how my candidates, how our party recognized and adhered to the rules and regulations. And that's what it takes for us in every area to move forward. But we have confidence in our province, and we must have the capability to keep building our province. And I think we were a party that were saying we have confidence that we can manage this. And we see business owners, store owners, and customers still going about their daily routine, only doing it a little differently.
Every other government in the country, by the way, was elected before the pandemic. Now you have a pandemic mandate, as it were. What can other governments learn from this campaign? Because I could tell you, BC was watching your campaign closely. Obviously, all the federal parties were. Are there any lessons learned to take from New Brunswick about what people care about, what they want from their government? Can we extrapolate anything, or is it just this is New Brunswick and it's a lesson about New Brunswick?
Well, I think there are some things. I mean, certainly about how we can manage and do routine things. And democracy, not necessarily to call it routine, an election but it's a part of the values we cherish, and it is something that we have to move forward on regardless of the situation, but do it safely. I think we demonstrated that. I think the other thing that the province wants is stability, and they elected, for the first time in many years, a second-term government. And that's another indication that people want stability. They want leadership. They want to have a focus on not only healthcare, but on our education and our economic development and our social systems, but have a continuity of progress with results. I didn't go around promising everything. I didn't make up a big campaign bus wish list. We just committed to the plan we put together last March. And when people would say to me, well, you told us this last March, I said, yeah, and that's what we're implementing. There's no invention here. We are working on a plan that we want an opportunity to continue. And New Brunswick wanted that stability.
Now, there's concern. I know there's the Atlantic bubble, but there's concern about a second wave in Ontario and BC and Quebec, certainly in other provinces. The Atlantic bubble seems to be working, but there's going to be a First Minister's meeting soon with the federal government. I guess my question to you, they got the speech from the throne. They certainly have not been shy about giving money out. What will your key request be from the federal government to help out your province?
Well, certainly, we concluded some deals in relation to COVID expenses, but the focus has to be right now, and we've certainly talked about that with other provinces throughout, is on the Canada health transfers. We're way behind here with the federal government's commitment that at one time started out to be 50-50, and now provinces pay about 80%, federal government pays about 20%. We have to have longer-term vision, longer-term goals, longer-term support on issues that we're all facing. And healthcare has been one for a long time. There needs to be more of a proportionality there, back to the 50% position that the federal should be supporting on a regular basis. And that's going to be a common goal for every province in the next First Minister's meeting.
Man, that's a doubling, at least even more than doubling of the transfer. I don't think it's been like that for 50 years. Blaine Higgs, congratulations on a very big win in the first COVID campaign. The country was watching closely. Glad it went off safely, and for you, a big success. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much, Evan. Have a good day.